Hello, my name is Dariia Yatsenyak and I am one of the authors of the article entitled Study of Ergonomic Criteria for Evaluating the Software User Interface. This article summarized research on the development and evaluating of a set of software usability measurements. Today they are called ergonomic criteria. We summarize the research work carried out on the development and evaluating of a set of software usability measurements. The paper contains a description of each such criterion. All of them together provide a quality user interface. We also highlighted the significant advantages of a well-designed and well-thought-out interface. We discussed ergonomic problems of software development. As a result, some characteristics of the software are identified. They reduce the ergonomics of the user interface. The paper also discussed ergonomic issues and the things developers need to get rid of to make the apps enjoyable. In the article, we give some examples of user interfaces. They are accompanied by an explanation of the problems and solutions to their shortcomings. The technical devices allow you to expand or supplement natural capabilities such as complex computing, transmitting and receiving information, improving accuracy, moving in space, making decisions, and more. The aim of this work is to identify the main set of measurements of ease of use commonly known as ergonomic criteria, based on a review of already written research papers. Because the user considers the interface as a key factor in the functionality of the programs, a poorly designed interface severely limits the functionality of the system as a whole. Companies that don't seek to develop ergonomic UI for their products and get all the benefits provided by modern technology weaken their competitive position. Software designed with practicality in mind is ergonomic and works exactly as users expect. As a result, users focus on their own task rather than the specifics of interacting with the software. Ergonomic software products are easier to learn, they are more effective, they also minimize the number of human errors and increase their satisfaction. Their effective user interface is a result of the developer's understanding of the need to pay attention not only to the data, but to the user, his tasks and activities. Here are some of the most significant benefits of a good user interface. There are reduction of losses of productivity of users at system implementation, faster restoration of the lost productivity, reducing the number of human errors, improving the morale of users, reducing the cost of system support, and also reduction of cost for UI redesign. Each hardware or software product is a set of different functions. Therefore, it is necessary to have standards for evaluating the technology or products to the user interface. The success of solving the problem in software development depends on how functional, clear, and user-friendly the interface is. Taking into account the needs and expectations of users from the design of the interface, we can identify certain recommendations that should be followed and based on them edit the user interface. There are displayed the real world in the user interface, standards and consistency, efficiency and flexibility, recognition. Other tips are documentation and reference, error prevention, freedom of action of the user, system status, and minimalism. The point of this tip is the display should be limited to the necessary components for current tasks while providing clear, visible, and unambiguous means of navigating to other content. Based on these recommendations, the quality UI can be based on the number of criteria. We summarize the list of these criteria and present the following characteristics of software quality assessments are in table. In the table, all 16 criteria are divided into 5 general groups: functionality, reliability, usability, efficiency, portability, which give an understanding of what this or that characteristic refers to. As experience shows, many interfaces are unsatisfactory. This is because they are too narrow profile and require a fixed combination of user skills. A good interface should serve different users. From ergonomic principles, it is possible to understand why modern software cannot be used productively enough in the context of various and instructed tasks. Considering the typical modern software products, we have identified some shortcomings, such as no integration, loss of context, mysteriousness, Swiss Army knife syndrome. For example, the essence of the last disadvantage is that created huge duplication of functionality and increased inconsistency of exhausted version of much more general functions. The existence of such shortcomings imposes a large cognitive load on the user. This distracts him from the real task that needs to be done. As a result, numerous user errors become inevitable. Good UI design makes user interaction with the application or site simple, intuitive, efficient, and smooth. A bad user interface can be annoying or directly prevent users from continuing to work. I will show you just one example of disadvantages in the ergonomics of user interfaces that are given in the article, which may seem comical or downright annoying, but they are still found in UI design. The shortcoming is use of intuitive notation. Changing the language is the first thing users want to do if they open a site of software they can't read. It also makes sense to make this option as simple and optimal as possible to choose before performing any other actions such as login, registration, password change. The most successful is the idea of using intuitive notation. Let's move on to the conclusions. The problem of designing user interfaces is currently relevant. Therefore, to facilitate the work with the software product, developers need to think about and create an ergonomic user interface that would accordingly perform all the tasks assigned to it. Given the user needs, expectations, and expectations of the interface design, the paper identifies strong recommendations that should be considered and included in the editing of the user interface. We contain the characteristics of software quality assessment, namely summarize the criteria of ergonomics of the user interface based on a review of already written scientific papers. Ergonomic criteria should take into account possible errors of users. Therefore, ergonomic applications should be interactive, intuitive, interruptible, indulgent to mistakes. For a practical picture of the problems of the non-ergonomic user interface, the work contains illustrated examples of shortcomings that are still uncorrected by users and significantly affect usability. This seemingly understandable problem with default interface language mismatch is easily eliminated by replacing words with intuitive notations that successfully implement the basic functions of the user interface. Thank you for attention.